Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday morning. We have a lot to cover. Really quickly, I just want to say several people are writing on my YouTube account, why did you leave? Why did you go to Patreon? Here's the crux of it, guys. YouTube is now throttling me. I used to get 40, 50,000 views a video. Now I'm lucky if I get 17. They're not putting ads on anymore. They're unsubscribing my people. People are constantly writing to me. I've been unsubscribed. People wrote comments. YouTube put them in jail for a week and there was nothing wrong with their comments. I'm going to slowly move off the platform because they're just screwing with the creators too much, in my opinion. I'm a big purveyor of free speech. All right. There's a lot to cover. Let's jump in. Let's get going, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off again with Zara and Mike. They remain in Australia and they had a beach day and they were packing on the PDA. Yeah, they're so cute together. I just love them. But they have 3 children under the age of 10. So when you get time away from your kids, I'm sure that they just love it. He knew the cameras were on. He pinched her rear end. I thought she looked fabulous in her bathing suit. I love it. She looks super toned. It's pretty, I'm sure riding horses, because you got to have really strong legs and thighs for that. They were there with a bunch of friends, and at some point she had her cell phone out. I'm pretty sure she was checking on the kids at home. For those of you who are unaware of it, they were also hanging out with Nacho and his wife, Delphina. I'm sure that Mike and Zara were on their guard about what they said in public. You know what I'm saying? Because after all, anything they said, I'm sure would go straight back to Harry and Meghan. All right, moving on. Let's turn our attention to Princess Anne. Sri Lanka Airlines put up this statement, a service fit for a royal. And then you saw Anne walking on to the plane. Of course, you see her husband, Sir Tim Lawrence, behind her. But what a lot of people were noticing was her coat, what she was wearing. Well, of course, Remoulade Sauce came out and pointed out that she wore this jacket in 2016. Doesn't she look lovely? So they landed in Sri Lanka. And of course, typical Anne, she thanked the staff and carried her own bags off the plane. My God, I love this woman. And just in case you're unaware, this visit marks 75 years of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the UK. You guys, this is why everybody likes her, because she's unpretentious. She is the Princess Royal, but yet she doesn't act like the Princess Royal. You know what I'm saying? This is what people want in their princesses and in their royal family. This is what William and Catherine and them all possess. So anyway, when they land, they get off the plane and watch Tim here. They put that thing around his neck. He thanks him with the bow. And then they move on and they greet the people at the bottom of the stairs. Now, when this was done, she started walking the red carpet. I was waiting for Omid Scobie to tweet something about the fact that she's on the red carpet. And I'm looking at all these beautiful costumes and all this pageantry, so colorful, so pretty. And apparently they were doing a traditional dance of some sort. So a video clip came up and I just wanted to show you this small clip so you could get a feel for it. Watch this. Honestly, wasn't that just gorgeous? The costumes, the colors. Okay, so she gets to the end, and of course, we all know she had to sign the book. That they always do. And then no business, man. She headed right off for her next engagement. And that was to visit MAS Holdings in Colombo, Sri Lanka. It appears this is some sort of a global design center, and Princess Anne and Sir Tim Lawrence heard from the leadership of MAS about the 3 decades that they've had in the apparel industry and about their work in innovation and product development for the UK, because apparently that is a key market for MAS services. I would not have known this, but apparently their product creation and development area is for strategic international partners, including Marks and Spencer, which is a very British brand. Now, MAS put up a tweet as well and thanked, the Princess Royal and Sir Tim for coming in, that, it was so nice to talk to them about what they've been doing for the last 36 years. And this was a significant moment. And they recognize the value of the critical role played by the UK market in their success. Wonderful. When she was done there, Princess Anne then headed to the Save the Children. She has been their president since 1970. That's a long time. So the first thing she did was unveil a plaque commemorating the 50th anniversary of Save the Children for Sri Lanka. And she gave a small little impromptu speech to the staff and guests at the headquarters there. After that, Princess Anne met with the staff that are implementing the Save the Children's TIL program. This is a program that uses games and storytelling and helps parents and teachers talk with children about, consent, bodies, boundaries, trust, those kinds of things. It's being reported that the main focus of this charity's work has been helping to support the government school food program, and they feed up to 95,000 pupils a day in more than 850 schools, and they also run a child protection initiative and mental health projects alongside of other things. I mean, this woman's busy, and she just landed a few hours ago. They're literally going place to place to place. Okay, so then Anne unveiled a fabulous plaque. They gifted her with something. Then she went and toured the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children, which is a pediatric teaching unit, and that's where they're doing the TIL program kit I was talking about. All right, moving on. Princess Anne, at the end of the day, then dropped in on the president of Sri Lanka and handed him a letter written by King Charles. And I'm going to quote a little piece of this. "I would like to extend my very best wishes to Your Excellency and the people of Sri Lanka as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of bilateral relations between our two countries." Love it. All right, moving on. Moving on to Queen Camilla, I remember reporting to you back in December, mid-December, that she visited a hospice. And, we had all these fabulous pictures. Well, some other pictures came out, and I just went, what? Well, yeah, while she was there, she got to meet what they're calling is the Superman. Yeah. I love this. All right, moving on. And sticking with Queen Camilla, you should know that her podcast is topping the charts. Unlike a certain somebody else whose company tried to make it look super popular by messing with the numbers, although most of us could tell something was wrong, Queen Camilla is literally topping all the charts. I love it. Next up, we're going to jump on this about Catherine. She wore some earrings that were created in honor of a girl named Issy Phipps. And they were created by a woman named Sophie McGowan, and that she was Miss Phipps' cousin. Miss Phipps passed away by her own hand a year ago. So they're 18 gold-plated and white gold-plated earrings, okay? And as soon as Catherine Middleton wore them, they flew off the shelves. So Sophie is donating £5 from every pair of the earrings sold. And so she was able to raise more than £10,000 for a mental health charity. I just think that's lovely. They're saying it's part of the Kate effect. You see something on her, boom, it's gone. So her recognition and support when Brave Mind founder Simon Towery and Issy's mother were exclusively, according to the article, invited to attend the Royal Christmas Carol concert at Westminster Abbey. I just, she never forgets these people. She doesn't just use them and get rid of them. She never forgets. I love that. All right, moving on. Next up, I wanted to touch this article because it's been a year since The Spare was released. We all know that the book, he just attacked senior members of the royal family over and over and over again. And they're saying it was a big sales success, even though we know now that it was a financial bomb. The Penguin Random House didn't make back their money, and they didn't turn a profit. So basically, it was a fail. So anyway, and it's one of the most left behind books in history. You know, usually you read a good book, you stick it in your library, you stick it on the table. Harry's book keeps getting left poolside, etc. Anyway, so right after the book was released, we heard they had to leave Frogmore Cottage. And another backlash from The Spare was it continues to align Harry and Meghan with constant attacks on the family. And as a result, if they want to move their brand away from the royal family, it's not working. As a matter of fact, Harry's projects that don't have connections to the royal family totally flop. We have the Archetypes podcast, which failed to impress, and they got their contract canceled. Harry and Meghan have been trying to land luxury brand deals. Not happening. The Heart of Invictus didn't even come close to what their documentary did, and their documentary got wiped off the mat by the Beckham's documentary. There's all kinds of backlash. I don't see how they could not have seen that coming. And there's no way Harry did this without Meghan's stamp of approval, in my opinion. Moving on. You know, with all of the backlash, it was inevitable that they were going to start being the butt of every joke, and that's what happened. Oh my goodness, we saw what happened on Family Guy. We saw what happened at South Park. We heard what happened at the Golden Globes. Those are not the only events where they were mocked. There have been plenty of others, but the point is they've become the butt of the jokes. Nobody takes them seriously anymore. And people say things about Diana now that they never would have said. They've not only pulled themselves down, but they've really damaged the memory of Diana. And so now the two of them are literally groveling for attention, and they're having financial problems. I've told you guys before, they're thinking about moving from their $14 million mansion to a $3 million mansion. They're fighting for IPP status so that they don't have to foot the bill for the security anymore. Meghan, for the first time this year, started doing rewears, which is something she never did before. They are having financial problems. I can't lie, I get so irritated. People think that Netflix and Spotify just gave them money. No. Spotify, they had to hit metrics. And when they didn't, their $25 million deal, they got maybe $2 million, and that money was gone. They need $4 million a year for security. Boom, gone. Netflix, they only, if they produce something, do they get paid. So Pearl went off the charts. It wasn't even done. Live to Lead was a big flop. And so they get a couple of million a year from Netflix to produce stuff, but then they're not producing anything. So no, they're running out of money. All right, I just had to touch on this to show how people are trying to come up with content. It says the 10 words from Meghan Markle's co-star, which may hint at her return. First of all, she's already said she's not returning. Second of all, when he was asked that, or when Patrick Adams was told when he was being interviewed by E! Magazine that there was a rumor that Meghan might come back to Suits, and he goes, "Oh, you've heard that rumor?" And the woman from E! Magazine even said, "Well, we made it up." But now they're saying, well, he's not giving a direct answer, but he's saying that the industry would be lucky to have her back, that he thinks Meghan's a fantastic actor. But again, the woman doing the interview admitted it was made up. And with all of this, I agree with this Twitter user. The fact that Meghan basically dropped all of her Suits cast after the wedding ceremony because they weren't invited to the reception, and now they're at the Golden Globes while she's doing parking lot pap shots, is karma. I completely agree. Moving on. Now, Talk TV, you know how much I love these people. They had a lot to say about Harry and Meghan being ridiculed and their financial difficulties, which, since we're talking about that, listen to this.
Wasn't there, if you remember back to this time last year, that it looked as though the Harry and Meghan sort of part of the family was going to be a real problem. It was going to be a real nightmare. But actually, in the 12 months since, they've actually kind of faded into almost insignificance. And when we saw the Golden Globes, even the sort of the cast of Suits making fun of Meghan, you kind of go, well, that's about as low as it gets, isn't it?
Well, I think the sort of the trainload of lies that were coming their way from the Sussexes has just been found out. I mean, the reality is, most of the things that have been said have just been proven to be complete nonsense
Yeah.
and are easily proven to be nonsense. And I think that's the problem that Harry and Meghan have got, is that everything they seem to say just sort of falls apart on closer examination.
Yeah. It's almost as though I kind of take it back to that, supposed high-speed car chase in New York, which was so blatantly
Absolutely
a
right.
load of old bollocks. I'm just going to say it right out. That clearly everybody just went, hang on a minute, maybe everything else they've said is similar.
Well, I remember being in America just slightly after that happened, and you lived in New York,
Yeah.
New York, and the idea of a high-speed race in New York was ludicrous, and I think TV networks in America had the taxi driver on the TV, and he
Yeah.
just sort of completely shut it down in flames.
Right.
And I think that just made people, particularly New Yorkers, which is at the hub of the sort of all the whole TV world really over there, just thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, they've just been seen as sort of figures of almost figures of fun, really.
Now, really quick, a blind item came out saying that Harry was spotted at a bar drinking and chatting up a woman, that they're not even trying to hide the end of their marriage. I believe that. All right, moving on. Next up, and finally, sugar number 2, Jack Royston behind Omid Scobie put this up. Prince Harry's proud daddy moment goes viral. And it's all about Harry and how proud he is of his son. And one of the things he said was, knowing that my son will always be watching what I do, mimicking my behavior, one day maybe even following in my footsteps. And I agree with this Twitter user. I hope not, because he'll be another junkie with mommy and anger issues. He'll slag off about Harry and he'll lie about him for money. Actually, I think that's what Harry deserves. All right, just a quick reminder, don't forget there's still products for sale on Fourth Wall in the description box, and also a link is in there for my father's book, which is still for sale up on Amazon. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Put those comments down. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell. If you've already hit the button, double check. You've probably been unsubscribed, sorry. If you've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.